listen to how many different ones I give. So I'm a little bit confused, Jan, because at the start of the call, you were very confident in saying that you are reacting angrily towards your wife. Notice my intonation as well, guys. Like you are reacting angrily. Like these little tweaks in how you communicate is where the prospect's like, shit, I can't go around this guy.
Bit confused because at the beginning of our call, you were very confident saying that you were showing anger towards your wife. And now you're saying your voice gets a little bit louder and you don't really know. And so I'm not connecting the dots.
Beautiful. Stack all of the dots. So listen to this. Listen to how many different ones I give. I'll try and say it how you said it. So I'm a little bit confused, Jan, because at the start of the call, you were very confident in saying that you are reacting angrily towards your wife. Notice my intonation as well, guys. Like you are reacting angrily. Like these little tweaks in how you communicate is where the prospect's like, shit, I can't go around this guy. Okay. You are reacting angrily. And you also said that it's getting worse because you are getting less patient, possibly due to lack of sleep. But now what you've said is you use the word we. We are hurting each other as if maybe it is your fault, maybe it's not your fault, maybe both of you are at fault, you and your wife. You said specifically what you're doing is just speaking more loudly. And you also said it's not that bad. And so from what you said in the beginning to what you said now, which one of those is actually the truth?
I want to say that it's not that bad. That's what I want it to be, but I'm
What is it?
realizing I'm realizing that it's actually becoming very bad.
Is it
Because
becoming, sorry to interrupt you, is it becoming bad or is it already bad?
it is bad.
How bad is it?
You know, we'll
Pause. Do you see what I'm doing? Like, I'll get you to tell me the fucking truth and then I'm on you like a fucking hound dog.
Yep,
Okay. All right. Give it another shot.
got it. So, Jan, I'm confused now because when we started this call, you sounded very certain that you were being angry towards your wife and that it was getting worse, potentially due to a lack of sleep. But now you're saying that things aren't that bad. Your voice just gets a little bit louder, and I'm having trouble connecting the dots here. Which of those two is true?
I've been telling myself that it's not really that bad, but I come to realize that we would, for example, spend more days apart where we wouldn't even talk or acknowledge each other. And she has also threatened to leave the relationship and take the kids and move to a different place. And yeah, so it's gotten me to think of it might be time to do something here.
Sure. And so, what is it that you're doing that's causing your wife to want to leave and take the kids away from you?
So not
You
bad, but if we look at the things that have now been put on the table, what is the most important thing to address? We've always got to address a gap between truth and falsehood. But often on the table, there'll be multiple gaps between truth and falsehood. So you've got to look for the one that's the biggest chasm. And the biggest chasm right now, which wasn't on the table before, is he said, I've been trying to tell myself it's not that bad, but it is actually that bad. My wife's threatened to leave. But on the other side of the chasm is like, it might be time to do something. So traversing that chasm of like, well, hang on, you've said it's really bad and your wife's threatening to leave, but it might be time to do something. That's the biggest chasm now of like, well, if we can't traverse that and bring that to truth, nothing else matters because he's still in denial. And so there was a bunch of other truths versus falsehoods that we still have on the table, but they're like the gap's like this big. Whereas now there's this one. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go for that one because that's huge. Does that make sense?
1000%.
So it's when you're listening, you're like, okay, that's not true. That's not true. Fuck me. That can't be true. I'm going to go for that. And you've got to be aware, which is why you can't use a script, because you're listening, you're assimilating all the information, and then your supercomputer, which you all have on the top of your shoulders, is analyzing and going, that's important, that's important, that's important, that's a priority. And this is why also, if you master scriptless selling, you'll master other life skills, such as when you have 16 different things on your to-do list, how do you know what to do? You choose the thing that's going to be the biggest needle mover. And you learn this in conversation, and it will teach you how to do it in other areas of your life, where you see all of these things like, I could improve my landing page, I could go for a walk today, I could go to gym, I could do this, I could do this. And then there's this metaphorical thing where you've got a hole in the bucket that you're filling up. It's like, well, I better plug the hole before I do anything else, because everything else is significantly less effective while I'm still trying to fill up this bucket with a massive fucking hole in it. Does that make sense? So you learn to discern priorities in your own life, because essentially when you're thinking through organization in your own life, it's just communication in your own head. You're the closer and the prospect talking to yourself in your own head when you're like, I could do this. Oh, is that a priority? No, it's not. Well, you could do this. And so when you're communicating with another human being and learning to discern these things, you learn how to communicate with yourself. Does that make sense?
That's mind-blowing.
All right. How many deals have you already lost this week that you could have closed but didn't because you were out of state? I'm not a fan of sales hacks, but if there was one thing you could do before your next sales call to raise your closing percentage, it's using my patented pre-call checklist. Imagine taking just 60 seconds to read 5 to 7 personalized bullet points on a piece of paper, and as unbelievable as it may sound, puts you into the optimal state to access your highest sales skills on every call. That's the pre-call checklist. I'm going to show you how to create your own. All you need is a piece of paper and to go through the training that I'm going to give you. Thousands of salespeople have used this framework to close more deals, and you can have your own for free. No strings attached, in a matter of minutes. Click the link below this video, enter your email, and grab it right now.